Perfect. Yeah. So welcome in, guys. We're super excited to have Kent, one of our Tech Academy graduates, here to give us a really good presentation on how using LLMs and Langchains can land a job in tech. And yeah, take it away, Kent.
Hello, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. My name is Kent Gray, and I graduated way back when from the Tech Academy. That's back when they only had one path. And it was that kind of when boot camps were not super famous. So it was back in 2015, and I had a great run. It was fun out there in Portland. I was out there for 4 months, and then did an internship. And then it took me a few months to land a job. And so I have always rooted for people that go through boot camps, whether you're Tech Academy, which I highly recommend, or other, people that have kind of transitioned, or maybe you're just fresh out of college and you want to start a new job, or maybe you don't even have a college degree and you just want to get into tech. And I'll be honest, the market's kind of crazy right now. It's hard to tell what's going to happen in the next few years. But I can tell you for sure, one thing that's going to change the landscape dramatically is AI, which I'm sure everyone is aware of. And one of the big things is large language models, LLMs, and LangChain. And so this is kind of like when the printing press, sewing machines, the welding industry. I don't know if you guys realized the welding industry that went away within like 1 or 2 years, right? We had as the United States, a source of fuel came from whale oil, and then all of a sudden we discovered oil from the ground. So everyone that knew how to hunt whales, they were out of luck. So the thing is, like, for developers, and I'm a data engineer by trade. I see a lot of my work being replaced by Chat GPT. And so the best thing you can do is, in this crazy time, is get ahead of the curve. So whether it's switching from horse and buggy to a Model T or whatever it is, this is the new Model T, is AI. And so I'll try to break this down. I didn't have a ton of time to prepare this. I did everything via AI today. All my images, all my text, and I started it just this morning. So if it's not great, you can blame AI. No, honestly, I wish I had more time, but I took today off to get this ready for you. And then what I'm mostly going to do is just step through how to build this out, how to do this yourself. I want to help you figure out how to land a job using AI, and then also showcasing your skills of how to use AI to potential clients. Why don't I just start with a use case real quick, and then we'll go into it. So this is my website, and to be honest, I built this website in like a day. This is a couple weeks ago. I put this together. This is my portfolio site. I bought this domain a while back, but I built this out like a few weeks ago. You can see the tech talks here, and here's some of the AI that I worked on. I'm gonna just start with a basic thing. I created this for my kids. This is a story generator, and let's say it's bedtime and you're really tired and your kids want you to tell a story. Well, you can just type up a let's see, tell me a story about 3 princesses and a fiery dragon. So this is going to use LLM and LangChain. So it's going to create a synopsis for me. This is a creativity indicator. I can make it more creative or less creative. I can go all the way down or really high. Okay, so I'm going to do it again. It's running. Okay, so here's the title, Flames of Destiny. The tale of the royal trio and the fiery dragon. And then here's my synopsis. In a realm threatened by an ancient fiery dragon, 3 princesses must embark on a perilous journey to harness the powers of an enchanted flame and save their kingdom from destruction. Okay, So that was an example of LLM and LangChain. So LangChain is basically you're chaining large language models together to feed the next AI instance, and it's pretty powerful. So this is obviously doesn't apply to people wanting to find jobs, but if you go, the number one thing everyone needs to learn if you want to get involved with this is Hugging Face. Hugging Face is like, I wish I could see everyone. Does anyone know much about GitHub, or Bitbucket, or GitLab? If you do, Hugging Face is basically the sphere for it's just like GitLab or GitHub. So I'll go to Hugging Face, and you can basically, these are all AI models that have been created, and there's so much out there. So I'll start with mine, for instance. So here's just the 313 I've created. Forget the name on that one. Let's see. So this is Storytime Generator, and let me just show you how simple this is to create. So this is literally the majority of the code. And with this code, I can step through in a little bit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this very brief and high level. And I'm going to take this in a direction to where this is going to help everyone the most. And I'm going to try to see if I can get the general consensus of what everyone needs. But I'm going to go overview of how to create your own large language models, and then how to chain them together. So here's a large language model that's being utilized. So the prompt is here. Let's see. So basically, let me go into the files here. So here's a large language model. So here's LangChain, right? We've got this as a library within Python, and the models that are being used. This is a library, OpenAI, the LLM chain, and what it's doing is it's going to take the first large language model. It's going to take this free. This is free, GPT 3.5. Everyone's, I think, is familiar with ChatGPT. Just in case you're not, this is ChatGPT. So check it out. You got 3.5, which is free to everyone. And if you have the money, I'd recommend GPT-4. And basically, it's just saying, okay, I'll just step you through what it looks like. Let's say I wanted to feed in from here. So I want a story about 3 princesses and a fiery dragon. I would go to ChatGPT and say, generate a story about 3 princesses and a fiery dragon. I got about in there twice. It doesn't matter. It'll still work. So we create a story. Okay. Now, what if I wanted to just, so what this will do is this will chain, okay, for the sake of this will create a synopsis. I want to say, create a synopsis for me. So let me go back, and so this will create a synopsis for me. And that's too long. But basically what you would do is, let's say we created a short version. Let's see. Let's just do, no. Oh, I've got the wrong model here. Let me start a new chat here. Sorry. Create. Great. So it did both right there. How LangChain works is it'll take, let's say, the prompt from here, and it'll feed it and it'll chain it into the next event. So let's say I wanted to, okay, here I've got the header. Now I want to create an image. Create an image from this title. I'll take it from the title. So I'm trying to demo here what it looks like if you were to manually do this step by step. The DALL-E 3 is going to create some images for me. And that's what this can do all at once. And so again, this is a slider scale. I can create as uncreative or creative as I want. Okay, so it'll generate a synopsis for me, and then it'll create the intro. Okay, and then if I wanted to, I could feed that into an image generator, and that's how it's chaining it together. So the guy, I don't know how, this is Python, by the way. I don't know how deep into the weeds to get for everyone. So I'm going to just do a light overview, but it's chaining the sequence. So it's saying, okay, I want to take this, the creativity is what I set it to. And then this is the prompt. It's saying, what is a good name for a story about? And then that's the description that I type in. And whatever I type in, it's going to prompt basically ChatGPT, and it's going to create this, the title and the header. And then here's some images. That's the next step of this. I built this out for my kids. And so it changed this. So it'll take that first prompt, okay, and it creates something. And then the second template is saying, okay, create a log line, which is basically the synopsis for the following story. And then the story name is what basically what we've typed in. So you've got the description, and then it's going to take a title from that prompt, and it's going to feed that into the next line. And then we're going to chain this together. We have a sequential chain. We have the first chain, which is defined by this, which is the first prompt here. And then we have the second chain, which is right here. So it's going to take that. And that's, in essence, what LangChain is. Large language models chaining together. And what I want to do is just show you how easy this is for everyone to create themselves. So obviously, that's not going to be very helpful for everyone to build their own, I guess, job-seeking tools or resume builders. But in essence, that's how it works under the hood. So if you wanted to go straight to the source, here's the documentation for python.langchain.com. And basically, LangChain is just a framework, and you can develop applications, and you're using large language models. I won't go into too much depth here, but there's a lot. I mean, there's so much you can go into. You can go into the terminology. You can show you how to install it. I'll give you a quick start tutorial on it, how to everything. But for the sake of this, I'm just going to go high level. What I'll do is I'm going to show everyone how to, from my website here, you can go into, let's go to Resume Assistant. So Resume Assistant, it's just all of this is generated from AI. So I typed in that word, and AI generated this description, this title, and then a description. And then this is the tool that I created within Huggingface.com. Now I'm hoping that we can create this pretty open-ended for everyone to be able to build out themselves. In other words, I want to build something for people on the fly if we have time, and then so that you can build stuff for yourself. Here is, so let me go back to the tools. Huggingface.com. This is basically the future of AI. I would say if you're going to invest in any AI stock, this would be a good one. Obviously, everyone knows about ChatGPT. If you were to look on the website for, here we go, I have it right here. The most highly generative AI unicorn. So Hugging Face, this is a little bit dated, but Hugging Face should be in second place, basically. And this is basically the sports arena for AI. making sure everyone still there. Everyone good? Good. Okay. So back to Huggingface. Here you can search for just about anything. But here's what I've created: a resume assist. And this is what it looks like. You can type in a resume. You can input a job description, and then it'll give you resume suggestion, generate cover letter, or generate LinkedIn response. So I built this out in Huggingface, and then I just embedded this into my own personal website. Okay, and I can step people through how to do that. So for example, let's do an example that I got on LinkedIn. So I got this, I think yesterday, someone reached out to me for actually LLM, technical lead position. Okay, so this is a job description, and I went ahead and just kind of made it generic. Here's the job description. So I'm gonna take this, I took out any terms, and then I'm just gonna paste the job description into here. So I took the guy's name, the person's name, and the company's name, and I replaced it. And then I'm gonna take my resume. It's not the full thing, but let's say here, I'm just gonna, do this maybe the last 3 years of my work. And I'm gonna plug that in here. And now check this out. Let's do resume suggestions. It's gonna take my resume. Here's what it looks like. My full resume. It's got a little bit of a breakdown, and then it's gonna take that. I could do all of it, but basically saying, okay, here's what you should do to tailor my resume. Okay, add the title of Senior Enterprise Tech Solutions Architect. Add the following skills: LLM, which I do have some familiar with. All this stuff I can add. So it goes on. It's got quite a bit. It goes granular. It's got generic. Now I could also just say, hey, generate a cover letter for me. So it's running for me right here, running. And there it is. It generated a cover letter to the person that messaged me. Okay. Now what if I just want to generate a LinkedIn response to this person, which most people aren't doing cover letters these days. You're just doing LinkedIn messages. So it's going to generate a LinkedIn response. And there it is. So I could copy this and paste this back and send this back to him in here and go from there. So that saves me a lot of time. Now there's a lot of stuff I could do. I could add, like I could have a file that it creates based off of that. And the possibilities are endless, basically. So I guess the next thing I wanted to go over real quick is a site, going through a sitemap. So sitemaps are, if you're not familiar with a sitemap, let's see, let me go over here. So sitemaps are basically tools that you can use that, let's see if I've got it. So I'm working remotely. Let me just pull this up real quick. So here's a sitemap. Sitemap basically is XML, extensible markup language, and it takes websites. So for those that are looking for tech jobs, people will create this, or you can create this yourself, and it'll scrape a bunch of jobs, scrape a bunch of websites for you. So it's a breakdown of companies and availability. So here's a company here. This is a job. So I could go to this website from this sitemap. Right, and I can look at this job description. So here it is: remote senior software engineer, front end, right? So this is the site of all these different job listings. So what you can do is you can basically just scrape all this information from an XML website that's been created, or you can generate it yourself. And so I went ahead and loaded that, into this sitemap. So here's another example. So here's a sitemap. Let's just go ahead and plug this in. We'll take WeWork, and I'm going to load that into here. And I'm going to, oh, let me just put it over here, actually. I'm going to load it first. So for those that are, so while this, it takes a while to load. There's a lot of, so it's got to go through every single one of these websites. It's going to scrape every one of those websites, and it's going to extract the information, parse it, and then it's going to load it into what's called a vector database. So a vector database is, I'd love for everyone to check out this Pinecone. See, Pinecone API. So Pinecone is free, and it's got a lot of great training on it. So this is long-term memory for AI. So AI is, right, you can generate all this stuff, but how do you store it? And what Pinecone can do is it can store the data, and then there's a lot of stuff you can do with it. For the sake of what we're working with, let's see, let me go to their docs real quick. Go to Pinecone. So what we're going to do, we were working with embeddings, and then we're using semantic language. So here this has a ton of great information on how to use this, but again, I don't want to go too deep into the weeds. I'm trying to keep this as high level as possible. But basically what I'm doing is I'm scraping this WeWork XML, which is going through, let's see, it's going site by site. It's taking all this data, and it's converting it into a vector, and it's storing it into this vector database, Pinecone. This is the database right here, jobs. This is something I just created basically a couple hours ago. I can create a new one right now if it helps. And it vectorizes all this information. And this is, see, there's an ID for each one, but this is the job. This is everything I'm loading in. So here's that WeWork right here. And it's just loading that data in there. And so now what I can do is I can go back, everything I just loaded, and I can query this and say, okay, see, junior developer jobs. Okay, so I wanted to find any junior developer jobs, and I want 1 result, 2 results, 3. I can go up to 5, or I can change that to 10, whatever we want to do. So here's the results. The first result is we don't hire junior people often. We have some people, so this is a description of something. You can look at it. Sourcing remote candidates. So it's hard. So I think this is going to go into depth of saying we don't hire remote candidates for junior positions typically. I don't even know. I'm just now clicking on this, but that's typically what you'll get. But what you can do is, let's see, right? Let's see. Let's try this. Now it's taking me back to that. Let's see. No, it's just pointing me back to the same spot. So I'm trying to build this out on the fly, and it's not always perfect. It can take some tweaking, but let me try a different search. So I'm querying all the data I loaded, and I've loaded 3 different site maps for jobs already before this. Let's see, let's try, I'm gonna just type in Python and search that. Here's a mid to senior developer using Python. Here's the company, or the posting. So it's about Waldo Photos, Austin, Texas. They're searching for a mid to senior backend software developer using Python. Okay, So again, I could take this and I could chain this, right? I could say, okay, I want to take this job description. Okay, and I can go back to my website or to LangChain, right? And I can go in and say, okay, I want to take this job description I just used from a site developer. I'm going to post in my resume again. And then I'm just going to say, generate a LinkedIn response. So it already generates, so it's chained this. I know this is two different spaces within Huggingface, but it's anyway. There's a lot to this. It's actually so simple to build out your own version of this stuff. And so there, let's see. So there, yeah. So there we go. So we work remotely. Remote. I loaded this already. The sitemap, and yeah. Let me go back over here. Let's just see here. So if I were to go to Hugging Face real quick, let's go huggingface.co. So let's do job applications. I want to search for spaces. I want to go into spaces here, and I'm going to say job applications. Okay, nothing's showing up. Let's just see interview. So you can do, no, not seeing a lot. Let's do resume. So here you got all these different things we can work on. So you can do a parser, you can do ranking. Basically, come over here and, oh, this one's not working. Let me just show what I did to create this. I'll log in. I guess it logged me out for some reason. So here is all of my stuff. So here's Resume Assist, and then here's the sitemap query capability. But let's just see the Resume Assist is a little bit simpler. If someone were to come over here and say, "Hey, I love this, and I want to tweak this," you can literally just build this yourself. All you have to do is come over. You create a free account with Hugging Face. You come over here, and you just type duplicate this space. Okay. You can do the free version. I do the paid version just to help with demo. Gives me 32 gigs of RAM, and then 8 cores, and it's really cheap. 3 cents an hour. Like, that's very cheap. And it literally will just run this. And as much as everyone that wants to use this can use this. And so once you generate that, so let's say we'll just duplicate it for the heck of it. Let's do Resume Assist 2. We're going to duplicate the space. It's going to rebuild it for me. So it's creating the build. It's going through the script with all the files. It's got a container. So it's doing the startup now. It's building still, creating the container. And there we go. So it just rebuilt it for me. It's called Resume Assist 2. Doesn't do anything different. But let's say I wanted to add some features to this. You could go into the app. This is the Python file, app.py. It's a Python file. I would edit this. And let's say you're new to this. Okay. And like, I don't know. I'm just throwing out some ideas for everyone. And I'm going to tweak this as we go. Let's say you didn't know what you wanted to do, but let's say you just copied this. Okay. Go to ChatGPT and say, add a feature that allows me to download a resume in PDF format from this script. Okay, boom. I'm going to plug that in. That's all ChatGPT. All the Python programming that's taken years and years. Let's see, I've done Python for about 7 years now. It would take me quite a bit of time to research and build this out, but it's doing this for me right now. Okay, so I could take this and so generate revised resume. It doesn't look like it's giving me a file version though. It should give me a Python to CSV library for converting. So it converts HTML to PDF. PDF. I don't see a PDF export conversion. Create a PDF file export. So it's showing me what libraries to use. Okay, so there, give me some basics of how to output that file. That's what I would want. So it would convert whatever I have into a PDF instance, and then it would add the pages as needed, and then it would create a sample file. Okay, so let's say I want to just add that. I could create something that would add this capability. It would take me a little time. This didn't seem to do as quickly as I thought it would.
Ken, super quickly, someone in the chat is asking if it's possible to increase the size of the font you're showing on ChatGPT right now.
Sure. Good
Probably
question.
just do view page. Yeah, zoom.
Will that work? Let's see. Let's go back. No. Let's see. How's that? Is that any better? Okay. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, just step in if I need some redirection, please. I want to make sure you guys can see this. So yeah, so here is basically I took the code that was from Huggingface. You know, basically you can go in and you can duplicate anyone's work. It's open source, just like GitHub or GitLab or Bitbucket. You can take someone, you can duplicate their work, and then you can just say, okay, I want to add functionality to it, right? This is literally all that I did. This is all I did. I didn't do any of this work. I did some of it. I mean, I did very basic work on this. I found stuff that was out there that would help you, and I started this morning, and I went to Hugging Face and I typed in resume builder, and I found some workflows that would do whatever you needed, that would help help with assisting with resumes. I duplicated. I did add some functionality. So I added this LinkedIn message. Okay, and it's using Palm. Let me increase this font size as well. Sorry. It's using a Palm API to generate the text. And I did this since this morning. So literally this would probably take before weeks to generate this stuff, weeks. And I'm doing this within a few hours. And I embedded it into my website from this morning. I literally didn't have any of this in my website this morning. And so it just shows you what you can do in such a little bit of time. Okay, so we're already at like 36 minutes, and I don't want to take up too much more time because I want to see if there's anything I can build out for someone in the moment to see how simple this is, so that you can hopefully replicate this process. And then if I can be of further help in the future, love to help. I'm doing this just to help everyone. I've been in some of your shoes. I don't know everyone's scenario, but I know what it's like not to be able to land a tech job, or especially with the tough market. I want to try to help everyone just to get going on this process. And so obviously I didn't go into the weeds of the functionality. There's a lot that I can explain, like how the vector databases work. It uses cosine. So it's basically it's a KNN, nearest neighbors, if you've worked at all with convoluted neural networks. But I just left it open, and because I don't know where everyone sits, and I don't want to take everyone down a rabbit hole that they don't want to go down. So with that, I'll just kind of leave it to open questions for now, and then I can start presenting again if anyone wants me to hop on and build something for them.
Looks like Farhan has a question. Turn on your mic if you want to go ahead. All right. Other than that, we've got a question from Share. Jeff is asking, is there any downsides or shortcomings with Huggingface?
With Huggingface, I mean, it's free, so if you start from that standpoint, it's hard to complain with Huggingface. I guess it just takes a little getting used to. It's not as straightforward as maybe GitHub if you're used to GitHub. So you've got these different things. So if I go to Spaces here, you have what's called, you have a model. So you can look at the data model. You have data sets, you have spaces, you have docs. You typically want to start with spaces. And spaces is basically the entire environment. And that includes your files, utilities, everything. There's so much you can do here. It's pretty fascinating. So I don't know if I could say right off the bat if there's any downside to Hugging Face. I would highly recommend everyone check it out though. It's free, huggingface.co. Get started with that. The next step would be Pine Cove, and that's pinecone.ai, and that'll store all of your data. Sorry, pinecone.io. That'll store all of your data, whatever you need.
Right on. Jeff's asking what kind of interview questions or tasks can we expect? I think he's referring to the section you showed about the LinkedIn messages.
So interview questions, if you were to, let's say if I would go to that position that was posted, is that, or it's just for LLM?
Yeah. But
okay. I don't know, to be honest. I've literally just delved into this, so this is all brand new. I've pretty much left this open ended. I've created like a little a bookmark manager that stores all of my large language model tutorials. But yeah, I honestly don't know. At this point, I would assume they would want you to know about cosine, vector databases, k nearest neighbors, maybe some convoluted neural networks. But I think if you are familiar with Python, you could probably navigate through a lot of that without having to know the in-depth mathematics behind it. I guess here as an icebreaker, is there anything, what would help you? I'm going to throw this out there as a question before we go into other questions. What would help everyone to help land a job? Is there something in particular? Is it LinkedIn messages? Is it a resume builder? Is it maybe it was like that example, like what are some interview questions for that? Would that be helpful? What if I built that out? What interview questions should I expect for this job description? Does that help you? Let's see. So Sherry asked, what might you build for us? Why don't I just go with that, unless I get any type of feedback? Okay, I'll go with that. Let me go and share. Check this out. Hopefully this will be recorded and then everyone can go back and do it themselves. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go into here. This is the Resume Assist 2. Okay, I just built this, right? I duplicated this. I hope everyone saw that. I can go back and do it again if that helps. But basically, you just go to a space. Let's say it's Wonder 3D. You happen to like this space. Okay, this is the front end version of it, right? This is pretty cool. Let's say I want to duplicate it. I would just go to here, and I would hit duplicate this space. Boom. Okay, so let's imagine I've already done that. Here's the duplicated version of that, and I'm editing this file. This is the main file, app.py. So I'm going to take this and say, okay, based off the question that we received, I'm going to input this into ChatGPT. I'm going to say, what are some some interview questions to expect based off the job description. Use this script to build out a function that would use Streamlit. So Streamlit is the interface tool. Streamlit has ST. You see this at the top? That is that's the interface. I would use Streamlit to display the question. The question's okay. I'm gonna hit that. So I took that. So I duplicated it. Okay, so it's generating it down here. Creating a function called generate interview questions based off of a job description. That's the input. That's the parameter that I'm going to basically paste in, right? And then it's going to do this. Oh, so it's already got some generic questions. So it's going to take these generic questions, describe a challenging problem, and then it's going to let's see how this works. This is not creating a new prompt. What this is doing is it's creating descriptions of, let's just try it. Let's just see what we can do here. So again, let's just look at what this says. If you read the prompt, it'll tell you what to do. Can't get this to scroll. Okay. Not saying it, not there. It looks like it's already got predefined questions though. I don't want it predefined. Can you discuss a project? Let me tweak this. I'm gonna go back up. That's not what I want. So I'm gonna say, what are some technical interview questions to expect based off of a job description, off the job description that I paste into the prompt. Well, let's rebuild the script. That just gave me standard questions. I want technical questions. So again, it's giving me the machine learning, Python, and SQL, they're standard. Let's see if this works. Let's see, we got Streamlit setting the title, copy code. I'm gonna go back. Let's just try it. I'm back in here. This is the script. Okay, this is the original script, and I'm gonna add this here. I don't need that import. Again, there will take some understanding of what this looks like in the end. So it's creating this job description, paste the job description here. That shouldn't work. So it's title, Streamlit interface, job description. We're just going to run with that. That's going to throw off some of the other questions. It's going to have a double, so ST title, interview generate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to convert. This is if you know anything about Git, I'm committing my changes. This is just like Git. Okay, so it's going to do that. Now if I go back to from here, I've modified this file. Here's all of the files, right? Got all the files here. I'm going to go back to app. When I click on app, it's going to rebuild it for me. Okay, so here's the interview question generator. Okay, so let's go back to the job description from earlier. I'm going to take this. Let me do the generic version because I don't want to reveal personal information. I'm going to go to here. And I'm going to take this job description. Let's say you have a job description that pops into your feed, or you went to the website with all the jobs, and then I wanted to generate interview questions. Yep, so this is not working. So I need specific keywords. So it quickly added the interface, but it's not finding the keywords that I need. So if I go back to the file, I go back to the files. No specific technical keywords. So I need keywords in that job description. And I guess that job description didn't have enough keywords. It has LLM, which is a keyword, but it's just not recognizing the keyword from the job description. Let me just try this, to see what the problem is. Let's see if I go over here and I just say LLM, Python, SQL, machine learning. Let's just see what that does. So it will generate some questions for me. Can you explain the inner join, left join? Because this is for SQL. So those are typically the skills required for LLM. So I mean, it built that pretty quickly for me, but it's not what I want exactly, right? It's going to take some modification. I pasted in the job description. I thought it would have been capable to extract these technical terms, but it didn't. So it's going to take some modification. Let's say, so what if I'm just, if you guys have time, I'll just say, okay, look, modify the script to extract the technical terms in order to create the technical interview questions. Okay, so it's going to take that and recreate a Python script for me. It already embedded some technical terms, which again, I want to be able to input that myself. So it's getting a little better, but it takes a little bit of work, some modification. But the amount of time it would typically take to build this out right here, it takes several hours. I just did this in a minute. Okay, so I would just copy this, and then I would test this out. And this is the process that everyone would need to learn. So I'm going to go back to the file. I'm going to modify this app file. I'm going to edit right here, and I'm going to change it, and then get it to do what I want. So this is just one of many instances of what we can do, right? I'm going to go starting from here all the way down to here. Build that. Okay, again, I'm going to commit my changes, and I'm going to rebuild the app. I go to app, it's going to rebuild it. It's rebuilding. So look, it's already ready. That was pretty quick. See if I can paste in a job description. Here's the job description. I'm going to go here. Nope, didn't work, sorry. Using a Mac, I'm a little better with PC. I'm going to come over here, paste it, and then I'm going to generate a interview questions. See, again, it's not working. Okay. All right, well, not what we wanted, but you saw within a brief amount of time, it created this new interface for me, interview question generator, and it did create this. How do you handle imbalanced data sets and classification? Now, the cool thing is, since it's embedded, if I go to my personal website, all I have to do is hit a refresh on here. Here's my personal website, and then that functionality I just added. Oh, no, it's not, because I forgot that I duplicated the worksheet. I'd have to point into this. So anyways, if I were to point to resume assist 2 instead of resume assist, it would have pulled that in. So Nate's got some good examples here. He's a hiring manager for the past 7 years. Is just be ready with what you have learned. It's great advice. What else? What else can I do? So what's the best way to learn LLM from scratch? That's a good question. So the best way to learn LLM from scratch, let me post this in. I would go to Udemy. And let's see if we can pull up some of these and just learn length. So here's some actually, let's just do, right here. Let me post this in real quick. LLM, if you go to udemy.com, type in LLM, and it'll give you a whole list of them. And let me just post one of them into the chat. Here's one. And the best thing with Udemy is don't pay the full price, wait till it's on sale. And that'll get you some great exposure to how LangChain works. So now you work with Udemy already.
Yeah, promos will come up right after Thanksgiving, so be on the lookout. You'll have a lot of cheap courses.
That's a good heads up, because if you pay the full price, it's pretty expensive and get up to like $200, I think. But if you wait for the promos, it drops down to, I think, like $9.99. That's the best way to do it.
They're also pushing a lot of like subscriber type, almost like Adobe has gone to, instead of licensing. So you just pay a monthly fee and then you have access to any courses that you want through Udemy. So it's definitely a good way to learn.
Yeah. And so Arafat, someone asked about the links to the how-to tutorials. I would go to that website, that Udemy course, or one of those similar. Just go to udemy.com and type in LLMs. It'll step you through all of that. It'll step you through Pinecone. Look for one that's got Pinecone. You want to learn that. You want to learn Huggingface. Those are the two basics. Start with those, and then go from there.
Black Friday, Cyber Monday, that's where, just like when you would, buy Amazon stuff on cheap, Udemy, everybody is doing sales for Black Friday and Cyber Monday.
Nice. That's the BFCM. Okay. So, okay, there's a lot of stuff you can go online and use. There's tools, and I'm just showing you how to use this to save you money and time. You can chain stuff together. Like I can show you my billing. It's pretty cheap. So, for instance, for here, Huggingface, I'm spending 3 cents an hour for this. If you go to some of these things, you're going to build out, like, say, $29.99 a month to, I don't know, create resumes for you, or to maybe generate or use sitemaps, or whatever it is. But this you can build out yourself and save a lot of money. And then you can customize it to exactly what you need. And let's say I had a friend, he was a recruiter. You can reverse engineer this. Instead of you could type in, say, a job description, or you could type in the tools needed and the skills, and then it would generate a job description for you, maybe create a market value salary range, and it would, you could generate, say, messages to reach out to people that might be, interested in that position. And so,
Jerry, did you have a question?
sorry, let me just share if this helps. So here's the LangChain course I was talking about. See, it's $89.99. If you wait till Black Friday, that should drop. I don't know, either $9.99 or $14.99. Sorry, and then for the billing, I didn't share that. So here I'm spending 3 cents an hour. I have the upgraded version. I'm also I do pay for this. This is the ChatGPT 4. And so that does cost a little bit. That's $20 a month. And that's on my own. I could use the free version. And then So you have Huggingface, you have Pinecone billing. Let me just show you the billing on that. Right now I'm using the free version. I'm paying nothing. So sorry, passive billing. So billings here. So I'm using the free version, and that allows me to write data to it, store it, and then query it. And that's all for free. I don't really need to spend much. If you were to use it, like, it's actually really, really cheap. We're talking 2 cents a gigabyte, less than like 2.5 cents a gigabyte. So a lot of the stuff you can do yourself for very, very relatively inexpensive. Just do all the free stuff at first, and then you, the more you use this, you can build this, and then you can just embed it into your own personal website. So it's pretty easy. So this stuff I'm just embedding. I can say, hey, here's my portfolio. Check out some of the stuff I've done. And I did this, like, again, I did these 2 things since this morning: Resume Assist and Sitemap. I built those 2 out, I embedded them, and it only took me a few hours. Everyone can do this. So hopefully that's helpful.
How have you found the ChatGPT 4 versus 3.5?
It is better, quite a bit better, especially when it comes to code. If you were looking at Python code or SQL, I would recommend, if you've got the money, spend the $20 a month, use GPT-4.
Right on. Tigsley, did you have a question?
I can try to, Sherry, I can try to create like a little file to send out, and then it's got some of the links to get started, and then maybe point to some good resources. And thank you, Nate. You had some great insights there.
Any more questions for Kent here? You guys, his mic's on, so feel free to jump in. Sherry's got a question. Sherry, your mic is on. You're welcome to jump in here. Sherry's asking, what's the best way to connect later?
You could probably through LinkedIn. Let me just share my little profile. That might be the best. Start with that. I'm on there quite a bit, so should be able to get a good response back to you. Again, so I could have gone more in depth in the weeds, but I don't know where everyone's at technically, so I don't want to lose anyone. There's so much you can do with this, and just and if anyone's got, say everyone's got, hey, this would really help me, and I'm seeing if you want to reach out to me on LinkedIn, say, hey, this would really help me to land a job. I can try to build something out, and then you can just use it totally free. You know, I'm just here to help. And oh, there's Andy. Yeah, thanks, Andy.
It's cool stuff, Kent. And sorry if I stepped on any of your presentation. I hope that was not at all the intent. But I do feel
all your feedback is great. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, just coming from that perspective of someone who's hired a lot of people, for those of you who perhaps are on the earlier end of your careers and you're looking at, hey, when I go to get this job, what do I do? I think Kent's tools are absolutely fantastic. I would say try to find a balance. Don't overinvest. Sometimes you can go way down a rabbit hole thinking you got to do all these things. Sometimes you just need to get a resume in front of a recruiter. You need to put a note with that's personal, right? Like sometimes you got to get a read for the company too off their website, the way that they show up. Sometimes they want your character more than they want your technical skills, or they want a balance of those things. And so find what it is that they're looking for as an individual company or position, and then position yourself accordingly, right? Because if you over technically communicate with someone via writing, that can actually put you behind other candidates. So treat it as a boutique experience, right? Every time you're submitting a resume, it's one of one. it's not a conveyor belt. It's not mass production. So that's my advice in terms of, you know, how you should navigate your career, you know, hunt.
Yeah, great advice. Definitely. Yeah, don't get overwhelmed with trying to be super amazing. Just try to be straightforward and tell them what you know, what you're capable of.
We've got a question here. Tigsley's asking, is Python going to remain the top language for LLMs and ML for another year or more?
Seems to be that way. A lot of this is Python based. The great thing with Python, it's a full stack. You can do web development with it. You can do ETL with it, you know, integrations. So Python is great. Yeah, Julia's good. Just I would say Python's probably top still, but I don't know. You can't go wrong with Python at this point.
Awesome. Yeah. We do have, the Tech Academy does have an AI bootcamp that we are going to be launching here in the next couple of weeks. So if any of you guys are interested in doing something like that or want to stay up to date with that, I'll leave there's a link in the chat and you can get some more information as we begin to roll that bootcamp out. But yeah, any more questions for Kent? Other than that, Kent, that was an awesome demo. Thank you for sharing all that.
Definitely, yeah. Sorry, I wish it was. I could have had it more broken down, but I was trying to be hands-on for everyone. Hopefully, that was helpful.
Of course. Sherry, my name is Braden. I am taking over for Gina. Perfect. Yeah. Awesome. We do have some more tech talks coming up in the future here. Make sure to check our Eventbrite and our meetup pages for those as we start to roll out announcements. And yeah, Sherry, I'll drop that in the chat for you. Yeah. Thanks again, Kent.
Definitely glad to help. Wish everyone luck on their quest.